Welcome, listeners, viewers, to episode 2 of Chat the Week with
Henry.
and Stephen. That's you and me.
That's you and I.
And as you may have heard, if you were listening last week, congratulations on getting in on the ground floor of our politics podcast.
Do you know, I actually had a look this morning, and we've now got 14 listeners.
Goodness,
It's been viewed
gracious.
14 times. So.
Skyrocketing. It's you know, this week 14, next week could be 14 million. Who knows?
What I really enjoy is that we don't know exactly who those people are.
No,
We know who a
don't
few
know
of
anything
them are.
about
We do
them.
know a few of them, don't we?
Well, yeah,
There's
a few
John, the landlord of the Moon Under the Water.
acquaintances. Yeah, John.
He's definitely listened. And we don't know how many times he's listened.
It could have. How many listens did you say it was?
He said he listened a few times, so I don't know how
Oh,
many.
so it could all be John.
I
Maybe we've
don't
got
think it's
ourselves a
all
super
John.
fan.
Can't all be
Could
John.
do. And then there's Leroy, who works in the library with me. I know he said he'd listen.
Yeah, no, the response has been really fantastic. We've not had any comments as yet, which I for one am rather pleased about, because there was a few things that we spoke about last week that were quite near the bone,
Yes,
and
it's
thought
a relief not having to field the complaints. It was something we were
really
worried
did
about.
think
wasn't
we
it?
were touching on some touchy subjects.
Well, I mean that's the world we live in, isn't it? That's politics in 2025.
Which is a lovely segue, and I don't mean the vehicle, I mean the theatrical device, into this week's episode. What are we going to chat about this week, my friend Stephen?
What a week, eh? So we've got a few things that we may cover. We'll see how we go. But I think last week we were covering the Labour Party conference, and there was a Conservative Party conference this week. But we thought, we probably, saw just more of the same, really, isn't it? We thought we'd move on to another story that was leading the headlines, and that was to do with China. Did you see this?
I haven't seen this. What's this about?
Oh, goodness gracious. All right. Well, luckily, I've made some notes. So,
Right.
listeners and viewers, you may be familiar with a very big story this week. It's leading the news, and it involves the Chinese, the British government, and I don't know how else to say it, spying.
Really?
That's what we're talking about this week.
Wow.
The Chinese have been... Well, no, I don't think it's good news. They seem very excited there. It's just... I mean, it's fair enough.
Yes,
You
but I
don't know the context of the story.
No, not yet. I love spies.
Yes, well, in fiction they can be a lot of fun, can't they? You're a big James Bond fan,
I'm
aren't
a
you?
very, very big James Bond fan.
Do you have a favorite one?
Roger Moore.
Oh,
Roger Moore's my favorite.
yeah, he's brilliant, isn't he?
Shortly followed by George Lazenby. But there you go. Yeah, I love spies. So tell me about this spy story. What's happened? I've not heard about China for a long time. I think about China a lot because quite often when you buy things, and I'm sure I could see it even from here, there'll be something that says "Made in China."
And yes, I know.
And I think they are wonderful people for making things. They make
very talented,
lots of things.
Very talented manufacturing people, aren't they? Well,
very much so.
Well, let's remember that, because we don't want this to descend into an episode of, bashing our friends and partners in China, maybe our listeners in China. There could be some. So let's remember that, because some of it's going to be not as positive as that
maybe
success story of the industrialization of Chinese.
Right. Well, as I say, I'm coming into this
economy.
Coming into this completely deaf, blind, and dumb. However, if it is to flirt with slander or anything of that matter,
Well, only if it's justified.
well, if it were, maybe in the interest of fairness, this section, and I'm putting this out now, I don't know whether we can do this, should be translated at the bottom of the screen in Mandarin.
Oh gosh, that's a good idea. Yeah,
That way it's fair.
That way it's fair, and they can't complain if they're listening in. Oh gosh, you hear that? There's the sound of a.
It's like a Chinook.
It's not them, is it?
Actually,
no, but it could be.
I used to love, when you were a child, did you ever do that? And you heard the sound of a siren, and your father may say to you, "Oh, they're coming for you."
Yeah.
And as a child, I always used to think, "What have I done?
Scary,
I'm a bit naughty."
Have I done something? Yes. Well, let's hope that's not the Chinese Communist Party outside our.
And they are
Out-
communist,
outside
aren't they?
our home.
They are.
Oh yes,
Yes.
we'll come on to that. But let's. You're right. We'll subtitle this section, listeners,
In
viewers,
Mandarin and
Mandarin,
Cantonese.
yes, and any other regional. Like we'll put a few languages down there.
Different colour for each one.
Perfect. So we'll do that, and that way we can't be accused of being prejudiced because we're just reporting on what's been going on. So,
Exactly.
shall I read you as I did last week? What the BBC has been saying, and we'll make our own journalistic judgment from there. So the BBC said, a case involving 2 men accused of spying for China collapsed because evidence could not be obtained from the government, referring to China as a national security threat. So really that's the story. What happened is I'll explain a bit more, but there were these gentlemen, they were accused of spying for the Chinese, British gentlemen, and this was in 2023. They were arrested. There was going to be a trial, and the UK's most senior prosecutor, it says here, issued a rare statement saying they wanted to do the trial, but they couldn't get enough evidence because the government of the UK wouldn't come out and say China is a threat.
Right.
They weren't prepared to say they're a threat, and so the case fell apart. It's been dropped.
Right.
Which there's a few legal technicalities. We won't get into the deep waters of those, but that's what people have been talking about, saying, why on earth has the government not said, China, you're a threat. You're maybe not an enemy, but you're someone that we're keeping a close eye on, and so we can proceed with prosecuting these 2 men who have been allegedly spying. They deny it.
I don't know anything clearly. This is all real news to me. Where have you read about this then? On the BBC?
I thought it was on the BBC website.
So I must remember to do that as well.
There's a lot of good stuff on there. I mean, a lot of it is just, it's not what it was. A lot of it's sort of advertising. Rylan and Judge Vinder go to Bangladesh or whatever it is, but there's some good stuff on there as well.
I always used to watch the BBC 9 o'clock news, and then they moved it to 10 o'clock, which, as you know, is beyond my bedtime. So I have not watched the news for a long time.
For many years. I didn't realise that was why.
Whenever it moved to 10 o'clock, whenever that was, I said, no, that's quite enough. But I have been on the website, and I must remember to go on there more often, and I shall bookmark it so that I remember. Now, my first question relating to China: are they baddie? Are they what we'd conventionally call baddies?
Wow. Okay, let's hope those subtitles are there to
Yes, and obviously this will be translated into Mandarin and Cantonese. Apologies if you're not.
Well, are they the baddies? Well, this is the crux of it. The British government doesn't want to say they are, but lots of people would say, yeah, we're pretty worried about them. What are they planning? What have they got in store for us?
You wouldn't say, yes, they are, if they were, or they weren't. Sorry, that doesn't make much sense.
Try again.
What I'm trying to say. No, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I suppose, in a way, the British gentlemen, and they are gentlemen, are they? We're chaps. I can't imagine a spy being a woman.
Oh, I think safe to assume that these 2 were men. Do you want to know a bit about them?
I will in a moment. All I would really like to know is, or I was wondering, are they double agents? And maybe no, I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll come back.
Hang on, you're wondering.
I'm wondering if they're actually Chinese Britishmen pretending to be Chinese.
Yes, and spying for Britain, pretending to be spying for
Chinese.
Goodness gracious! Well,
I don't know whether they've thought about that yet, but maybe we could bring that up.
That would be a James Bond plot in itself.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Well, I'll tell you their names. They're called. This is funny, and actually it's a bit too convenient. Might lend some credence to that theory. They're called Christopher Cash, and he was a parliamentary researcher, and Christopher Berry, who was a teacher from Oxford who had worked in China. Christopher and Christopher.
Both called Christopher.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that's
alarm bells ringing straight away, aren't
they?
they?
Fishy, isn't it?
I've always thought you never go and see a movie and there's two characters with the same name.
No, you don't.
But in real life, that happens all the time. In this case, it's Christopher and Christopher. And as you know, there's two Leroys who both drink in the moon under the water.
I know. That was extraordinary
I
when we
think
met
that
the
is
second one.
absolutely crazy. I've never heard that name before. I met Leroy, the first. And then when we met Leroy the Hat, I was blown away.
Yes. And I'm not sure if it suggests that they are spies. Because, you know, the Chinese have gone, what's an English name we can come up with? Christopher, that'll do. Send them both over.
Also,
or if that's just too implausible, and actually it makes it less likely.
Well, it's interesting you say, because
although they're not Chinese, we should say they are British. So
how do we know? Have we seen a photograph?
Yeah,
they could be two Chinese gentlemen who've been given British names.
You know, that actually did also that did happen in a James Bond film, didn't it? I was watching it the other night.
What was that?
There was it wasn't Chinese, but there was a Korean gentleman, North Korean, and he had he was the villain, the baddie. He was the baddie in this instance, there's no doubt about it. He was trying to make a sort of, you know, a big ray gun in the sky to blow up the earth.
Yes.
And he had a face transplant.
Right,
and went from Korean to English looking. And he was played by Maggie Smith's son. And you don't get more British than her.
Well, no.
Good disguise.
How are we to know? How are we to know that these gentlemen didn't have the similar sort of procedure?
Well, it wasn't raised in the article, but I imagine those. Well, I'm sure that's what this trial would have been wanting to ascertain.
Yes,
but they haven't been able to. It's collapsed. I mean, I was going to ask you, what do you know about China? Do you know anything?
I know,
because you said you spend a lot of time thinking about.
Well, I've seen there's a fantastic television program called Race Across the World, and on that, have you seen it?
I've heard of it.
It's on the BBC.
I've heard it's brilliant. Leroy was telling me both of them, in fact, were saying
really brilliant. And they whenever on that program they travel through China, they don't show very much. It all goes rather radio silent, and then suddenly 3 days have passed,
pop up,
and there they are in Tibet. You know, I am unsure about China. I don't know much about China. I find them to be shady. But as I say, I'm very impressed with the way that they manufacture things, particularly out of plastics.
Well, yes. I mean, we all watched the Beijing Olympics. That's when you were... I mean, even I, who was not a huge sports fan, we saw them all. There was, hundreds of them all drumming in unison. That was very impressive, wasn't it?
Very impressive.
But I know what you mean. It's a mysterious country, which they seem to keep themselves rather to themselves, don't they?
And there's millions of them.
There's a billion of them.
A billion?
Apparently so, yes. A billion Chinese living in the world. And that, that's an awful lot, isn't there? I wrote down some facts if you wanted to comment on any of these, just to help you form an opinion of
Fire away.
Whether you think we should be prescribing China as an enemy.
Fast China facts.
Okay, so they invented, apparently, paper.
Not surprised.
And gunpowder.
The pen is mightier than the sword.
Yeah. And they also, is that all I've got? No. They're apparently the global leader today in high-speed rail networks.
Right. Well, we've been struggling to build a second for some time now.
Yes, let's not get into that. That's a whole nother. That's a whole nother matter.
Although I will say, if you ever have boarded the Javelin, High Speed One.
Is that what it's called?
It's the UK's fastest train. It goes from King's Cross and Pancras all the way to Ashford International, which is down in Kent. They're all named after famous British Olympians.
Who are?
The trains, the high speed ones.
The Chinese.
No. That'd be more spying.
A billion Olympians.
And whenever I get on that train, I always run right to the front. to the point where once I nearly missed getting on to the actual thing. But I go right to the very front carriage, and it says on there,
Dame Kelly Holmes.
Dame Kelly Holmes, and I like to know whether I'm boarding her or whether I'm boarding Tanny Gray Thompson, Dame thereof.
Or Seb Coe. So
Lord thereof.
we've also got the fact that they have plans for a moon landing in 2030.
Oh, really? We've done that.
Well, as a species, we've
I'm-
done it.
I'm-
Yeah,
do you know
but
what,
the
I'm
Chinese,
actually
I
rather-
don't think there's ever. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think there's been a
I-
Chinese person, man
I
or woman
have
on the
not
moon.
seen anyone on the moon, and I'd like to.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
I think we're well overdue.
It would
and,
be
and
really
I would say
nice
good for
to
them.
have someone back on the moon. I
Mm.
think. I mean, I'm not sure I would necessarily insist on it being a Chinese person, but
No, anyone, provided they weren't a spy. Although in some sense, they would be a spy for Earth,
yes,
spying on the moon.
Moonraker. That's another. We're ticking off the
Mm.
James Bond films.
We are,
we?
aren't we?
So they're going to they're going to be landing someone on the moon, and then
Mhm.
the other fact I had was we had the Opium War with the Chinese, where we flooded their country with opium.
Did we?
Yes, we did. It wasn't our finest hour.
So
I think.
we were, as in Britain, we were the
the
baddies.
British were at fault there. Yeah,
wow.
we were very much firmly
You
the baddies.
never really think about that we could be the baddies, eh?
Except in sort of American movies where they always have a gentleman, someone with
Oh,
a British accent.
yeah,
I really hate
well,
that, don't you?
It always is the
watching a
case.
Star Wars film or Indiana Jones, and it's some nasty buttoned-up English person.
The
as,
chap who
you know,
plays
running the Death
the
Star
senator.
or
Yes,
something.
I saw him play King Lear at Sheffield Crucible.
Did you really?
I did. I'll level with you. I didn't enjoy it because I could only see the senator, Palpatine. I couldn't see Lear.
You were watching it and thinking, Jar Jar Binks about to come on the stage, maybe.
I absolutely love Jar Jar Binks.
You-
We both do.
You did, didn't you? You were the one who persuaded me. I wasn't sure
Honestly,
at first,
I
but he's a
thought-
great character. And actually, I think would brighten up a Shakespeare play. I could imagine Jar Jar Binks in Hamlet, for instance.
Oh yes,
That
I would
be good.
love that. I'd love to see him treading the boards,
Playing the Dane.
playing anyone from
Oh,
Shakespeare. He'd make a
God.
very, very convincing Mercutio.
He would.
You know.
So, anyway, so there was the Opium War. We were the
Mhm.
baddies, and that, just steering back, getting a bit sidetracked with that.
Mm.
They do have the Terracotta Army, though. Do you know about that?
I
go and
remember
see that.
seeing an exhibition at the V&A Museum about the Terracotta Army. I didn't go in, and in my head, I just pictured millions and millions of pots just lined up, little chaps made of pot.
Oh, yes, it's quite
and
charming.
It
isn't
sounded quite like a sort of army of gnomes.
I think
thought it
you and I are actually coming out as with what's the word? Cinephiles, as cinephiles. Is that what you say? If you don't get it confused with the,
No, we are
no,
cinephiles,
not-
and maybe by the end of this episode, we'll be Chinaphiles. We could call this episode the Chinaphiles,
Okay,
but with
yes,
different
that's-
spelling.
I think that is the meaning of. Anyway, never mind. I think we've covered that. So,
Mm.
but yes, I think it sounds like we're being won over to our cousins in the Far East.
Mm.
Maybe feeling that actually the British government was right not to declare them a national threat. It sounds like we have some sympathy with that. We've got some fondness for them.
I think the one thing that we've learnt today is that we can trust the Chinese.
Well, I think that's fair. I mean,
Mm.
why not? So we had another story,
Mm?
which was, did you see this? We've got a new Archbishop of Canterbury,
We've got a lady.
a lady Archbishop.
Mm,
Isn't that quite something?
I thought an archbishop was a man, and I thought, the Vicar of Dibley.
We thought she was the exception.
I
really,
thought she was the
didn't we?
exception to the rule. But there are more of them. Well, clearly two now for certain.
The Vicar of Dibley
And this lady.
so Dawn French and this lady who's called Dame Sarah Mullally.
And has she been made
That's
a
a
dame?
funny name, isn't it? Mullally.
Mullally. Mullally. Sounds a bit sort of...
Sarah Mullally.
It's a nice name.
That's, hope she's not Doolally.
That's a
I'm not
very-
saying that because she's a woman. She might
No.
probably perfectly sound mind and
And
suitable for the job.
What does the Archbishop?
If a bit more emotional. Sorry, carry on.
No, that's true. She may be. What does she do? What's her job? What is
goodness,
the Archbishop of Canterbury?
Not
And
quite
why
sure.
Canterbury? Because you could actually take the high-speed train down there, but
you were saying
you wouldn't want. It's got a lovely cathedral, so I can see why you'd want to be there.
Sod all else, though, isn't it?
Well,
It's just
I don't really understand why you need to be ruling over that diocese. It seems completely pointless. There's not much there.
You'd think she'd be the Archbishop of
London.
London. Well, she was the Bishop of London, so in a way, she's
It's a demotion.
because she's a woman, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hope not, because I'm quite. Or I don't know what you feel, but I'm quite supportive of having a lady bishop, a lady Archbishop for the first time. Why not?
I honestly,
a lot of people seem up in arms about it.
Are they really?
Yes, get with the time.
Honestly, we said this.
2025.
We've said this before. Why all the fuss? That's often my thought. Who, and I'm sorry to swear, who bloody cares?
Who bloody... sorry.
You swore as well. I've never heard you.
No, sorry. Absolutely.
Never heard you
Stop
swear.
it. Don't laugh at it,
That
please.
was absolutely brilliant.
No, I was just... You tricked me into that. We'll absolutely
bloody.
edit that part out. That's not funny. Compose myself.
Lovely.
Move on from that. Do you think there are any roles today that, and I say this with the utmost sensitivity, any roles that you still think should be done by a woman? That I'm not meaning. There aren't. Maybe they should be in every role.
No, this is not
50-50 every job.
No, this isn't. Well, this isn't. This isn't really my opinion. This is more. I believe certainly fact to my eyes, anecdotally. I have never seen a lady postman.
That's true, but I don't think I have either.
I've never seen a lady of any sort posting letters through a door.
Do you think there's a reason? Do you think they're banned?
Well, it's called postman, and I wonder if that's it. I wonder if we change it to postperson.
There'd be women.
There might be
Posting
instantly,
your
but then
letters.
also no fireman. Fireman, do you have
then
fireman?
If we go down this road, there's
The lady fireman?
I assume there must be.
I've
some.
never seen one.
But lots of things, have men. The chairman.
Yeah, I've never seen a lady chairman. Another one?
Well, no, they are. We have them today.
Do we?
Chairwoman.
Chairwoman. Right.
Delia Smith. She was the chairman of that football team, wasn't she?
She was. She
Chairwoman.
was. Although, no, that's strange. I always just referred to her as the matriarch of Norwich City, but thinking about it,
Was
she
that
was.
it was Norwich, was it? Norwich City.
She was the chairman, chairwoman, chairperson.
Chairman Mao, although he was a man.
He was a
That's
man.
Taking us back onto.
Terracotta Army.
Do you think Chairman Mao would have been better at leading Norwich City than Delia Smith? And inversely, would Delia Smith have been better at leading communist China than Chairman Mao? We can cut this bit out. But
so I'll address your first point first. Would Chairman Mao have been better at running Norwich City? Delia Smith, I don't know if you knew this.
I don't know how they did, but they're not a name.
It wasn't really
like Manchester or one of those teams that I've heard of very much.
No.
I can't imagine she did that well.
It's less about the performance on the pitch, or rather, it was on the pitch, but she gave a performance on the pitch which really rather disgraced herself. She came on and she shouted at the audience, "Let's have you!" Really, really loudly, and
Gosh,
on a microphone.
Disgraced herself, did she?
Well, it seemed that she
didn't do anything vulgar.
It looked to me,
You get
to everyone.
streakers at the football, don't you? She didn't do that.
No, she had all of her clothes on, but I don't think she had all of her faculties. And she had
been at the old.
Well, let's just say
the bottle. Had
she'd been making a sherry trifle, and I don't think much of the sherry had gone into the trifle.
Oh dear! So she came sprinting onto the pitch fully naked, shouting.
No. Her breasts were completely hidden.
Can I just say? Do you not think there's always? I know we're going a bit off topic, but it is relevant in a way to the question of the Archbishop of Canterbury. Do you think it's worse, as I do, more humiliating to be fully naked or to be naked from the waist down and clothed on top? Because I think that's in some ways that's more embarrassing, really, isn't it?
It's an interesting thought. I think you're right. I tend to agree with you. While you were saying that, I was thinking about Delia Smith wearing a Norwich City shirt and scarf, actually, with no shoes on, no socks, no skirt, trousers, nothing. And I'm picturing her holding a microphone, looking out at all those men's faces, mostly men, shouting, "Let's be having you," but with her fanny out. What an image.
Let's move on to a new policy. If you're ready.
I'm ready, yes. Let's carry on.
The government has abolished buy one, get one free deals on unhealthy food and drink. And that includes refills when you go to the
Wetherspoons.
We'll come on
we
to
know
what's
it.
been going on there, but they've been scrapped. So they're trying to crack down on obesity, specifically children, I think. They're saying, no, if you buy a Coca-Cola, you shouldn't get another one free because we don't want to encourage that. So, well, a powder keg, I know this one for you, but where are you at now, having had some time to...
Well, you know exactly. I'm in exactly the same place, if not more angry. I
was
don't
hoping
think
you'd cooled down, but
No, I don't think, as you know, both of us like, on a special occasion, to go to for what's we know is called a cheeky Nando's.
Yes, that's a fine restaurant.
We always love to say that because
Cheeky
that's what they say
Nando's.
on the internet.
They say
You go for a cheeky
cheeky
Nando's, and
Nando's.
whenever we go, we don't
We
do anything
can't
particularly
stop
different.
saying it,
We
can
don't
we,
do
though?
anything particularly
It does
different.
feel naughty, though. It
But
feels
just by
cheeky.
saying, "Oh, how cheeky," to everything. Now, the fact that we can't go in there and have a cheeky second Coca-Cola makes me ruddy cross, actually. Now, this is what I think is interesting. When politics lands on your doorstep, it's all very well and good for us to have this chat, but when it comes into your life, in the form of, in your case, not being allowed as much hot chocolate, that's politics.
But this is the thing as well with politics. Sometimes you have to support a policy that maybe, even if you really, really, you don't like it individually for yourself, you think it's best for the country. And I'm trying to maintain that position on this one because, I mean, this is something we do agree on. Fat children. That's you almost need to say no more. But
Simply those two words, fat child.
If this helps alleviate that, which wasn't as common. I'm sorry to sound old-fashioned, but it wasn't as common when we were young. There weren't as many, and now round every corner there's tens of lardy children playing in the street, and not even playing in the street. They don't do that. They'd probably lose a few pounds if they did.
They're probably for the best. Do you know, just very briefly, an observation that brought back two threads from earlier, really. I've just suddenly realised I don't think I've ever seen a fat Chinese person, and I also don't think I've ever seen a fat postman.
Well, the postmen you can understand because they're
on their feet all day.
day.
Or certainly all morning.
Must be a fat Chinese man, but I agree.
No, I've never seen him. You show me. I've never seen one.
Well, I mean, maybe that's the legacy of the Cultural Revolution and all the famine that was instigated by
the opium.
Chairman Mao. And that wouldn't have happened under Delia Smith. No one would have gone hungry under her, actually, now I think of it.
No, maybe they would have been lots of fat Chinese folk
if you have a
eating
picture,
cherry trifle. But all of them, imagine them all being really fat, eating all the Chinese, but not wearing anything on the bottom half.
Oh, yes, we're back here. So
I was going to say... Horrible thought.
Yes. If you have a picture of... If you have a picture of a fat Chinese person, please do send it in to us.
Or pop it in the comments. We'd love that.
And then we can be put right. But I agree. The one area where I would like a little bit more nanny state, and I'm not as opposed to it generally as you are, but I hear your concerns. The one area that I think is missing and we could do with a bit more nanny state is people cycling on the pavement.
Oh, no, yes.
When you're walking along, you're shopping, and then someone comes right past you, almost bowls you over. I just think, I hope you die. I hope you get hit by
A fat child.
I help you crash into a fat child and go brawling, both of you, into the road. Good riddance. I had my umbrella the other day, and a young man rode past me on a bike, and I really thought if I could stick that in the spokes of the umbrella,
he'd have gone flying, or you may have broken your umbrella, so it's not worth the risk, to be fair.
I almost at this point would have, if it meant that he was killed and learned, no, that's not, sorry, I'm giving air to my worst instinct. If it meant that he badly grazed his knee, it would almost be worth it for the bent umbrella. Well, we're coming to the end of our time today.
Oh, lovely.
Was there anything else you wanted to discuss, Henry?
No, that was it, really. I've really enjoyed this. I'm really enjoying getting to grips with feeling I know a bit more what's going on in the world.
And there's a lot going on.
And I really hope that some of the listeners may be feeling the same, because you've always been very informed. I haven't, and now hopefully you are.
You're making me blush. But, well, it's been a pleasure once again. We've covered China. We've covered Lady Bishops, fat children, Delia Smith. I mean, if there's nothing more to say, then it's
all that remains to say.
All that remains to say is
keep chatting. The week. That was really good. Well done.
Well done, you.
I've really enjoyed that. Right.